because of the number of snaps he's had in his whole career from freshman on. We know Kaden has a tremendous gift of running the ball as well as throwing the ball, and we want you to just utilize them both because it applies pressure. We just played against a quarterback last week that applied a lot of pressure
Yes, he did.
on us and just stretched us thin in so many different ways. It's not like he beat us with his arm. He beat us with his legs.
Yep.
You know, they beat us with their legs running the football. So you just got to take advantage of those gifts that were provided by God.
Coach, do sometimes athletes maybe overthinking is not the right way of putting it, but
it's a good way.
Right, instead of just playing within who you are, right?
Yeah, because you're playing for them, not playing for us. Them mean the crowd. Them mean his fans. Them meaning your family. Them means everybody except the guys on the field with you.
Right.
Like, we know what we want. We've told you what we want. Now let's go do it.
What does Juju bring to the table? When you say you're going to tell me about Juju,
he's
Lewis.
a natural passer, man. He's a natural guy that can spin it. This is a little different from high school, so you got to dissect coverages a little better. You got to really understand what the defenses are trying to do to you because they're trying to force your hand into something. And oftentimes with young kids, they try to take away your strengths. So they'll probably try to take away his strength with coverage and make us run the ball. And you got to accept it. You got to take it. Don't be stubborn like, I'm going to force it in here anyway. No, we got to run the ball.
Okay. So when you're taking a young quarterback like that, you're I don't spoon feeding him, trying to get him to understand what he's all about. You put him in safe situations?
No, you put him in situations that you've already pre-rehearsed the plays a million times against. Say, for instance, we got the play A. Okay, we've ran play A against this defense, that defense. This is what they do. So if you see this, you already understand what to do in that situation.
Right.
So we try to set him up for those type of understandings and situations. And now people keep forgetting that we have direct communication from upstairs to the quarterback.
Yes,
people keep forgetting that. Like he could see, and tell him what he wants.
And he's talking in his ear.
There you go until 15 seconds is on the play clock. So we got to make sure we execute well before then.
Yeah. Defensively, last week you talked about Georgia Tech running against you guys for 320 yards. Does that become a toughness issue for defense?
I don't think it because we were soft. I think we blew a lot of stuff. We didn't take care of responsibilities of gap control and this guy's supposed to be there, this guy's supposed to be there. And, I'm listening to the calls go in, and both guys did a pretty good job of calling it. Yeah. We just got to execute the calls.
Yeah. What did you think of the new turf out there?
Loved it.
Did you like it?
You know why I loved it? Because, first of all, we rid ourselves of a tremendous problem of slipping during the contest. But it rained, man. Yeah. Imagine what it would have been like, it could have been horrible out there if it had not. And we got a darn good grounds crew as well.
Yeah. You were a speed guy. Is there fast track and slow track?
Yes, it is.
You can feel that as a player.
The lower the grass is cut, the lower it's shaved, yes, you can. Turf is like that, too. You got some expensive turf and you got some cheap turf.
Okay.
The turf with the long hairs, we call it the lace fronts, the turf with the lace fronts. You don't want to play on that. You want to play on the thin turf that you could just flat out go on.
It's amazing how much that stuff has just changed. Back in the day, you used to have you get hit and the rubber pieces go flying out.
No, back in the day, forget the rubber. No, you talking about back in the, you forgot how old we are. Back in the day, it was carpet. It was this.
It was right on cement floor. Yes.
With tennis shoes. That's what we played on. Then we got to the turf.
Then you got the rubber. This one's got wood chips out there. You notice that?
Yeah. I think it's a Colorado thing. I've never seen it before.
I don't know, but fantastic stuff. Hey, tell us what about this Delaware team you're gonna
good, well coached. Totally opposite. They're gonna try to spin it.
Really?
They're gonna throw the ball around. Got a quarterback who has come in because their starter blew his knee out, I believe. Yeah. This guy is not a stranger to playing, though. He has reps. I mean, he played a lot last year. He could spin it. Came right in off the bench and did his thing, man. I'm proud of him. I love that kid. I love that tenacity. Coach is smart. He's been there before. Been there, done that. He knows what he's up against. We just got to come out and do what we supposed to do. Yeah. And that's be dominant. Right. We got to come out and be dominant from the start to the finich.
Yeah. The Fighting Joe Flacco's, as I'm calling him.
Yeah,
Joe has played so long. You didn't cross over with him.
No, I didn't. But Joe, I don't supposed to say this, but I will.
Okay.
Joe and Shador have some on this game.
I bet they do.
You're the first one I've told that.
Yes.
Yeah, they got some on it.
I don't doubt that.
Yeah.
I don't. They're a little trash talking, go back and forth.
Yeah.
There just a little bit. When a game like this, when a team comes up, this is their first FBS game, right? They're moving up, right? And young people have a tendency to go, well, they're not the same. They're coming from the SEC or the ACC.
We're everybody's.
Do you address that?
We're everybody's Super Bowl.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Forget where they come from. We're everybody's Super Bowl. We're going to get their best. We got Georgia Tech's best.
Right.
You know, we're going to get everybody's best. We just got to give everybody our best.
Yeah.
That's the darn thing. We got to give them our best because we know we're going to get their best.
Do what we do, not worry about everybody else.
There you go.
Yeah.
And do it early.
Right.
And put the standard down.
Yeah, because you know they're going to come in here. When you move up, they're going to come in with their hair on fire.
That's right. They're supposed to.
Yeah.
But you got to remind them where they are.
Yeah.
Early.
Right.
Yeah.
The Buffaloes in Delaware at 1:30 on Saturday. We're going to hit there at 11:30 with the pregame. Will be out on Dwayne Field. Your second.
It's Dwayne Field? I didn't know that.
Well, we're out on Dwayne Field.
Okay.
You wouldn't know that. You're in.
I didn't know it was Dwayne Field.
We do the first one. Dwayne Physics is south of the stadium. We do our first hour out there.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know the name.
Yeah.
I know you guys are
we're out there.
yonder,
Right.
but I didn't know the name.
And then where you practice, that's a different field, and then we play in Folsom Field. So we got all kinds of fields around here. You know, you can get yourself lost a little bit. How'd your secondary play yesterday or last weekend?
They played good versus the pass, except for a couple plays that, like we teach first down, shot down. Everybody on the team knows that. We yell it all the time. So when we backed them up, first down, you know they're gonna take a shot. That's just standard football. And we got a PI on that, and we had another PI that was big. I think it was like 3rd and 14, 3rd and 15. We can't make those mistakes.
Football has changed in terms of how much physicality we have in preparation. Tackling. We missed a few tackles last week.
Yep. That's going to happen because you don't go crazy at practice because now with how football is right now, everybody say they're deep. That means 1 and 2s.
Right.
That don't mean 3s and 4s. When you say you're deep, that means 1 and 2s because, say, for instance, you have a great second team guy.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to get him in the portal.
Oh, yes.
Okay, that's just it. So now that third guy went to the second guy, you got to develop that second guy to make sure he's straight. But that's just the nature of football.
I would imagine back in the day when you played, you were going through two-a-days and a lot of physicality and stuff, which makes you a good tackler.
Right.
How do you overcome that in modern football when you're not hitting?
Well, we tackled this week.
Did you?
Yeah, everything was a couple days alive.
Yeah.
Couple, not the whole practice, but I did designate a couple periods were live.
Okay.
All the way to the ground.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you try and stay away from that because you don't want to?
Well, we don't want cutting.
Right.
We don't want you hitting anybody low, but we want you getting there and being physical.
Yeah. Can you know, I hear guys in the NFL talk about building the callus of being physical.
I don't know what that means.
I think what they're talking about is you're physical in practice, you get used to it, you callous yourself up, you're accustomed to getting hit,
Yeah, but
which makes you more physical.
you're worn out by week 7.
Right.
And somebody's hurt, and then now you feel like a fool if you hurt a key player at practice. Right. I have a rule at practice, especially when we're not having contact. Like we're a thud. We call, don't use your hands, but give them a good pop. If you hit a guy and you're not supposed to, and that guy gets injured, you're not playing until he gets well.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think foolery deserves foolery.
Yeah.
You gonna act like a fool, we gonna act like a fool. Right?
Right.
Why would you hurt a teammate that, come on, man, that don't even make sense.
Well, what's the key to being a great tackler?
Technique.
Yeah.
But we have those drills in the first period of practices every day. Yeah. We're technical about that, but it's hard to simulate the real thing, especially when you got other guys with different tendencies and different physicalities. I think our opposing team last week, Georgia Tech, had a tough time tackling our backs as well.
Yeah, they did.
Because of the physicality, and you don't get that in practice.
Yeah. So the Buffaloes got Delaware in town this weekend. Both he and I are happy about a 1:30 kickoff.
Yeah, you got that right.
Man, we love that. Coach, good luck this weekend.
God bless you, man. You guys take care.
Appreciate it. Coach Prime of the Buffs, 11:30 pregame, 1:30 with the kickoff here at the network. Coming up next, we're talking offensive coordinator Pat Shurmur. That's after a quick break. This is Colorado Football from Learfield. Buffs fans only at participating Colorado Taco Bell locations. Live Moss. And we should tell you as well that every stadium generates some food waste and on game days, but thanks in part to certified compostable packaging from Boulder-based Eco Products, a dedicated team at Folsom Field, able to turn a lot of that food and the packaging it comes in into compost instead. Eco Products, proud once again to be the official zero-waste partner of the Colorado Buffaloes. Back in the Buffalo Stampede, I'm voice of the boss, Mark Johnson. If you noticed, I've got no one sitting next to me right now. Pat Shurmur is on his way down here. We're going to talk to the offensive coordinator. I think we got underway a few minutes early, and so they kind of surprised him. So he's on his way down right now. Delaware coming to town on Saturday. That's a 1:30 kickoff. First time the Buffs and the Blue Hens have ever played. And I like the breaking news we just had from Coach Prime here the previous segment. I hadn't even thought about it until he mentioned it, but Joe Flacco and Shedeur Sanders, he said, I got a little something wagering on this game, both being with the Cleveland Browns. Gary and I and Andy Lindahl are going to hit the air at 11:30 on Saturday morning. We'll be out at Duane Field. Come on out and see us out there. That's the Fan Fest area. We're out there for the first hour and 10 minutes or so, and then we'll get things ready back up at the booth and kick things off at 1:30. Again, the Blue Hens come in, coming off a victory 35-17 as they knocked off Delaware State last weekend, and their quarterback, Minicucci, had to come off the bench and played exceptionally well, in fact, for the Blue Hens last week, and so he'll get the start once again this week for Delaware as they come to town. After that, the Buffaloes will be on the road to take on Houston next week down in Texas to open up Big 12 conference play early before wrapping up the non-conference slate with Wyoming coming to town the following week. And we're still getting no word from Pat, are we, Reed? Is that the case? We're trying to do a little tap dancing here until we get Pat Shurmur in. The Buffaloes last week, mixed reviews in terms of offense, in terms of what they were able to do. Ran the ball relatively effectively last week against Georgia Tech. And so we're eager to talk with Pat Shurmur and get his thoughts on that and also his quarterback play. And then Kaden Salter is going to join us as well. We'll talk with the quarterback of the Buffaloes. Juju Lewis going to see some time this week. And it was interesting to hear Prime's kind of thoughts on Juju playing on Saturday about how they're going to slowly kind of work him in, but made it very clear that unlike last week, we thought we might see him, that he is going to have time this week. And so we're going to get a look at both quarterbacks. Keep in mind, Juju Lewis, number 2 ranked high school quarterback in America coming to Colorado, reclassified to come early. And so he's only 17 years old, not going to turn 18 until something like September 21st or so. I tell you what, we're having a tough time getting we're going to go ahead and take a break, I'm being told right now. They're getting Pat Shurmur. Pat's going to chat with us, and so we'll come back and continue on the Buffalo Stampede right after a quick break. This is Colorado football from their field. to us by Aflac. Get help with expenses healthcare does not cover. Visit Aflac.com to learn more. Back at the Buffalo Stampede, we've got the athletic director. I talked to him a while ago. He hasn't moved up that high yet.
No.
The offensive coordinator, Pat Shurmur, joining us. Buffs coming off the 7-point loss last week to Georgia Tech, getting ready for Delaware this weekend. How are you?
Doing good.
Yeah?
Doing good. Yeah.
Last week,
unfortunate.
Yeah.
You know, we had some opportunities to score. I think early that would have put us in a better position at the end of the game.
Right.
It's unfortunate that we weren't able to capitalize on some of that. There was a lot of really good things to talk about. Felt like we ran the ball well. There was times in the game when we threw the ball well. There's probably a couple of plays that if, you know, it's the ifs and buts. Had you made those plays, then we're talking about a different outcome. But that's the way football's played. So it's unfortunate we couldn't win the first game in front of our home crowd, but you move on. And I think, you know, the big thing is you can't let that first loss affect the next game that you play.
Sure.
And so it's been a spirited week of practice. We're still getting to know our team a little bit. I think that's, you know, from my old world, you know, you had 3 preseason games to say, okay, this is what this is what we are. But that's not our reality, right? We got to go out every weekend and put a winning performance on the field, and we need to do it this week.
Pat, win or lose after a ball game, you go back and evaluate every week. What do you look at when you're looking at the tape from the previous game?
Yeah, I think it's always process driven after a game. So win, lose, or draw, there's always good things that happen that you want to build on, right? And, you know, empower the players to feel good about. And then every game, win or lose, there's things that have to be corrected. So when I say it's process driven, you have to go through that process after every game, whether it is a win or a loss, because it's a journey. And, you know, most teams, you know, as you go through the season, as you get to play, you know, more games together, as you're correcting more of the mistakes that happen, then you become a better team as the season goes on. And so that's why I always say it's pretty much process driven.
Yeah. Your quarterback play last week.
Yes.
We're going to talk to Kaden Salter here in a few minutes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Tell me about what you saw from him.
Well, I thought he did some good things. You know, so we go down the first drive and score, right? We like a lot of scores in the red zone. It's off schedule, and he throws, and you know we get DT on the scramble, and so you know the first time, and then we didn't connect in that next drive. You know, we had a ball in the flat, and then we had a corner route that you know we didn't get completed. So you know we kind of go 3 and out, and then. You know, and then, you know, I felt like we had to find ourselves in the next couple of drives, and then we came back and moved the ball, you know, pretty well, actually. We just got to build on that.
Is there a process of not only does a player have to get to know a new offense, from an OC standpoint, is there a learning process of what the player's all about?
I think we're all constantly learning.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it. You know, I've said this before. I just feel like I'm on my journey. You know, like Forrest Gump. You're moving along, and I've always said this. I think it can be said for every game, as well as every stop in your career. You know, you wish you knew now. You know, you wish you knew then what you know now.
Sure.
And so you keep learning, and I think that's true with the players too, right? You know, I think I talked about it last week. You know, really, really young and a really new team.
Yeah.
And you don't know how everybody's going to respond to the bright lights, and you know what the Colorado Buffalo experience is. This is unique. This is unique,
Sure
and so I think if you ask every player, even the ones that thought they knew what it was going to be like, they all learned something from that experience. Now, if there are things that need to get corrected, you got to make those corrections and move forward. So. So a long-winded answer to say yes, you know.
You do have to learn, yeah.
You get to learn, and that's why I'm inspired by this level of coaching. Right there, Jordan Seaton was the only starter on the field on offense from a year ago.
That's right.
And so a lot of new dudes out there, right? And some of them only got here in. You know, I think 30% of our team got here in the summer.
Yeah.
So that's the college football reality, and you know, we just got to keep, and you just got to keep playing. You know, I think that's the other thing is when it never feels good to lose, and so there's some negativity that comes with that. So you got to just fight through it though and keep playing, and know that we're just on our second stop of our journey this week, and we got to put our best foot forward.
Jordan played very well last week. I thought he had, according to PFF, the highest grade in the country. But overall, offensive line, how did you play up front? You ran the ball relatively effectively last week.
Yeah, I thought we did. Against a pretty good team. I think as the season goes on, we're going to see Georgia Tech win a bunch of games.
Yeah, good football team, yes.
Yeah, but, that doesn't mean anything in the end. But
right.
I felt like they were a pretty sturdy front, and we found a way to, crease them for some yards rushing the ball, which is better, and it's going to serve us well as we move forward.
Yeah.
And then the pass protection, was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
When we did, leak a little bit, Kaden's legs at least got him out of it. And then now we just got to make more with those scrambles.
Yeah, I was going to say, he adds a nice element to it, doesn't he? That if there is a little leakage up there,
sure,
he's got the ability to get away.
Right.
That's a natural ability for him. That's something you can exploit, do you think, using the way he can run?
Yeah, I think that if you ask it, let's flip it around. I think if you ask a defensive coordinator, they want to play against the immobile quarterback, so to speak.
Right.
But with Kaden's ability to move around, I think it's going to serve him well.
Yeah. How about Delaware? Tell me about what you see from Delaware. They're kind of unique, right? They play a 3-3-5, don't they? So a little bit different defense.
3-3-5, and it's unique. At some point, there's times when it looks like there's nobody at the line of scrimmage, and all of a sudden they're all there. So it's pretty standard for what you see from the 3-3-5. So it could be a 3-man front. Sometimes they play a 4-man front. Sometimes it's a 5-man front, and then they mix in their pressure. So there's time when there's a lot of dudes in coverage, right? And then and they play it well. I think the one thing Delaware does is they play really good team defense.
Mm-hmm.
They've been there for quite a while. I think over 6 years as a staff. So they have an idea of what they want to do on defense, and it's multiple, and they have good players. They've won a lot of games there. I know Delaware really well from my 13 years at the Eagles, right down the road, so to speak. We had a quarterback from Delaware, Andy Hall.
I remember him.
Andy Hall. So, I spent time when Coach Keeler was there, and I know their program. They have tough, gritty guys.
Yeah.
They play well together, and I feel like we got to be on our game every week to get a victory, and this weekend's no different.
That defense, Coach Barnett and I have talked a little bit about it. It's unique. Not a lot of teams utilize it. Coaches, you guys have all seen it. A lot of times the players. Why that alignment does it make it kind of difficult?
Well, it is different. So you have a 3-man front, and when they choose to, they got a lot of guys in coverage just watching things happen. So you got to be patient with your throws, and then you complete a pass and they rally to it. So it's kind of like a big. If you think about it, there's one more guy in the net back there that can see it all happen and try to keep it in front of you. So
gotcha.
Tactically, there's things that you do against the 3-3-5 that you wouldn't against other defenses. And they have, really, if you think about it, just by the nature of the numbers, 3-3-5. So you got 5 guys in the secondary, but instead of playing like with a nickel, they play with a middle safety.
Yes.
So it's kind of a 5-man net, as so to speak.
Little tougher to have a big play against something like that because they try and keep everything in front of them?
Can be. Big plays show up because eventually they got to try to add guys to the front with only 3 of them. And then when that happens, then guys get isolated, and they end up playing what would be a traditional coverage once they rush the 4th or 5th guy.
Okay. Prime on Tuesday mentioned that Juju was going to play this week. And so what does that look like from a preparation standpoint for you guys?
Yeah, I think I'm excited to see him get in there. And that doesn't take away from what I think Kaden can be.
Yeah.
So you just prepare him, try to give him the things that he can be good at, and let him go out and execute. So that's about what it looks like.
Yeah.
We just put number 10 in there instead of number 3, and then try to play good offense.
Pat, for fans that have not seen him play, what is Kaden Salter as a quarterback?
Kaden is.
I beg your pardon, Juju Lewis. I said the wrong name.
Yeah.
Juju,
I think he's. He's got a quick delivery. I think he understands the game extremely well. He does move around a little bit, right? But I think he sees the game well,
Yeah.
and I think he's like any other quarterback, though. If you can blend in enough good run plays.
Yeah.
I think that'll help him execute. And so, we just got to try to play a balanced game with him and give him an opportunity to deal it.
When I watch him in practice, he's the kind of guy that the ball comes out on time, on target. That throwing motion is awful. That's not something that it seems like that's something you have or you don't have, right?
Yeah, I think that's why there's so few really good quarterbacks. I mean, that natural accuracy.
Yeah.
Um, we talk about it all the time, right? It's decision making, timing, and accuracy. So the decision making piece is a little bit like a fisherman, right? When you look at a stretch of water, you know what you're looking for. You know when you see it, and then you cast.
Yeah.
It's the same thing for a quarterback, right? You see a defense, you know how we're dispersing the wideouts. You know when you see it, you know when they're open, and you throw. It's the same, that decision making, and then timing, right? All quarterbacks, really good quarterbacks, have a really good sense of timing. So generally speaking, when to throw, and if I can't make a throw, when to go.
Sure.
Right? You just know when they're coming over the walls and it's time to go or it's time to throw, right? And then every quarterback that doesn't have the last piece will find a way to disappoint you, and that's accuracy.
Okay.
Right? Quarterback has to be able to throw the ball accurately, and there's many areas to that. The two that come to mind the most, though, is ball placement.
Okay.
Right? So if receiver's on the run, 1 foot in front of the numbers. If he's on you, you want to throw the ball on the body, with his back to the defense, on the body, away from the closest defender, and all that business. So the accuracy piece.
Yeah.
And then touch, right? If a running back is 5 yards away from you, then you want to put some touch on it. You want a firm throw, but you don't want to blow his head off, right?
Right.
And then the same thing happens for a down the field throw, where it needs to get in there before somebody gets there. So, and all those things are equally important, and it's sort of a circle that rolls. Make good decisions, have a sense of timing, and throw the ball accurately. And I think the guys that we have can do that.
Yeah.
And we just look forward to keep those guys being in and help us win games.
And then the first time you put a guy out there like that, the game can move awful fast for a young player like that, right?
Yeah, that's the other thing most quarterbacks will say after they played a while. I don't understand this totally, but they say the games are always fast.
Right.
But they say, well, it's slowed down. Right? I think basically you're saying I know what I'm looking at better.
Right. Yeah.
So.
You're not as anxious, I suppose, right? Everything kind of slows. You know exactly what you're looking for. That's a 1:30 game on Saturday. Coach, we appreciate the time.
No problem. Look forward to it again soon.
You bet. Pat Shurmur, offensive coordinator for the Buffaloes. Delaware coming to town on Saturday, 11:30 with the pregame. We'll be out in Duane Field for the first hour. You can join Coach Gary Barnett, Andy Lindahl, and me, and then we'll head up to the booth about an hour into that. And then 1:30, going to be a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Temperatures in the low 70s and sunny for the Buffaloes and the Blue Hens of Delaware. We're going to take a timeout. Quarterback joins us after a quick break. This is Colorado football from their field. Football is brought to us by Taco Bell. Hey, Buffs fans, get game day ready with the Taco Bell Buffs Box for just $7. You're going to score 4 Taco Bell classics and a large fountain drink, only at participating Colorado Taco Bell locations. Live Moss. Quarterback Kaden Salter joining us here on the final segment of the Buffalo Stampede television show and radio show. Welcome.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
All right. So you come off. You guys come up short the other day. What's the response been? How's it been in the locker room, on the practice field, all this week?
We just trying to stay positive and keep on building and preparing and just practicing better. That was one of the things that we tried to focus on this week, just practicing and preparing better so we can go out there and everybody know their assignments and just be better than last week.
What was your first experience like playing at Folsom Field?
Oh yeah, it was amazing. The crowd goes crazy. Just that whole environment. It was absolutely one of the best games I've ever played in, atmosphere-wise.
Sure. Now, the experience being out there, working with Pat Shurmur, the offensive staff, the guys on the offense, how did you go back and kind of grade yourself? What do you look at after a game? Win or lose, you go back and evaluate yourself, right?
Yeah, most definitely. I just went out there and I tried to correct all the mistakes that I thought I had during the game. I felt like it was a pretty okay game, but of course, most definitely with me being a dual threat quarterback, some of them downs I just got to bet on myself and take those third downs so we can move the chains and just continue to keep the ball rolling. It's a game of inches, so you just want to get every inch that you can get out there. And last week I did not do so with using my legs and playing to my best capable ability with my best attribute that I have. So this week and moving forward, I know that I need to go out there and just be me and control what I can control and do everything that I've done before.
Well, you're talking right now, and you're echoing what Coach Prime said earlier in the program. And he and I got talking about when you're a player, you get out there, and sometimes you think, well, I'm supposed to do this instead of just being me. Did you find out a little bit that, if this would have been a previous season, I might have taken off and run and made a play with my legs, or I might have thrown here, but yet you're anticipating a little bit. So is there a tendency you got to kind of, just like you said, kind of bet on yourself a little bit, don't you?
Yeah, just got to bet on myself more. Just better relationship with the receivers when I am scrambling. I'm trying to throw them somewhere that they're expecting it somewhere else. More so I see more than what they're seeing because I'm back there and viewing the whole field, and it's just something that we got to get on the same page with. And until that happens, I just got to, like I said, bet on myself and continue to move the ball.
How about the big fellas up front? How did you feel they played for you?
Oh yeah, they did pretty well. Of course, there's always room for improvement, and nobody's gonna just take that game and feel like they played perfect. We came out with a L, so we all just came out this week and we're preparing and make sure our preparation is better for this week.
I saw a video that Prime walked into the room you and I are sitting in the first time he talked to you guys afterward, and one of the first questions he asked you was, "What is adversity?" And he was trying to teach you guys something. What did you learn from that?
What day was this?
I think it was senior Sunday or Monday. Where he came
I was sick after the game. I had 102 fever.
No,
so
did you really?
I kind of played sick, but that's no excuse for my play style that day.
Are you feeling all right now?
Yes, sir. Most definitely.
That kind of adds another layer to the whole thing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, what is he just asked everybody, what does adversity mean to you? He was trying to get the point across. We all have to overcome issues in life.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
I know for me, I've been going through adversity since I started college. Going there 17 years old, going to the University of Tennessee for only 6 months, going to Liberty, going through coaching changes. When my first month of college, my dad almost passed through COVID and ended up being in a coma for 4 months and almost passing. So I've been through so much adversity in life to where it's just to the point where I just want to just have peace, just continue to be better and learn from everything.
It's about perseverance and overcoming, right? And continue to march forward. Hey, give us a quick comment about the defense. Kind of a unique defense you're going to see this weekend with Delaware, 3-3-5, stack. What kind of challenges does that pose for you?
Of course, they got the drop 8, so they're trying to cover the whole field with the passing game and certain things like that. So most definitely this week we'll have to pick up on the run game and hit those little holes that they do leave in the field. So just like I said, that comes with the preparation of the game and the game flow and just the certain plays that Coach calls for us, and I know that Coach Shurmur put us in the best position so we can control this defense.
Being a competitor like the way you are, you come off a loss like that, you come back angry. I mean, really motivated?
Oh yeah, most definitely, always. Since I've been in college, I've never lost the first game. So, and this is new to me, and just know that we got to go out there and be better all year round and practice better, make sure we're meeting better and watching film better. Just everything has to be better for us to go out there and win this Big 12 championship.
Yeah, right.
That one game will not knock who we are as a team. If anything, it's motivation for us to come out the next week and be better than we was.
Love it. All right, let's go and get a win on Saturday. Sound good?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Kaden Salter, quarterback for the Buffaloes. He and the Buffs will take on Delaware on Saturday at 1:30. Our pregame gets underway at 11:30. Our thanks to Coach Prime, Coach Shurmur, and, of course, Kaden as well for joining us this week on Buffs Prime Time. I'm voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. Thanks for joining us. This is Colorado football from Learfield.